I sold my Creed fragrances. Well, not all of them. Welcome back to the best smelling channel on YouTube, y'all. My name is James from J-ROYL, and yes, I'm entering full Viking mode. That's what happens when you stay inside a lot. As a huge fragrance collector, I've owned many fragrances, but if you know me, you know that I'm downsizing my collection a little bit. I've sold a lot of the fragrances that I wasn't wearing a ton of, that just were taking up space in my collection, which has brought me to the series that I've created called What Survived the Downsize. And today's episode is all about Creed fragrances. So at one point I owned all of these, and now I just have I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. We got 6 Creed fragrances that survived the downsize. Before I get into the list, hit that like button for me, subscribe, hit the bell, click all notifications so you can always know when I release videos. And also guess down below which ones you think I kept. Let's go. The first Creed fragrance that survived the downsize shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that knows me. It's my favorite Creed fragrance. It's the best smelling one in my opinion. It may not be the most worth it to a lot of people, but I like it, so that's all that matters. Original Santal. This beautiful, berry-like, laundry feeling. It's one of my favorite fragrances, period. It's the first Creed I ever purchased, so it has that sentimental value to it too. And it's one that I always just tend to reach for, even in the warmer weather, but mainly the cooler weather. Always puts a smile on my face. Even though it's not all that original, okay, I get it. Mont Blanc Individual came out before it. Kind of smells similar, not as good. And then there's Youp Homme, which came out even before then. Great, cheaper alternatives to this one. But because I had this, I definitely didn't want to reach for those ones, ever. So this one I'm probably gonna keep on holding on to forever. It's an amazing fragrance. That's my taste, right? Like it's maybe not worth it to you if you have a Mont Blanc Individual and it already has some similarities to it. Maybe just keep that, but me, it's about me right now, so. And you guys, thanks for watching. The next Creed fragrance that survived the downsize is Virgin Island Water. The lime, coconutty, mojito type fragrance, pina colada vibes, all that. Now, I wasn't always crazy about this one because right off the bat, it smells amazing, but you start to feel like, is this a fragrance for me? Do I want to smell like a drink, and a fruity drink at that? I don't know. But the more I wore it, the more I appreciated it. It doesn't necessarily have the performance of some of the other fragrances that Creed makes. It's on the lower end of the spectrum, but I've worn it quite a bit, and this was actually my signature scent when I went to Vegas with Leslie, where I really tried it out for the entire week, and now it has to stay in my collection because I've built those scent memories, which I talk about sometimes, with this fragrance. So every time I put it on, it'll remind me of that time, which is a big deal for me, man. It's good times. This sort of scent is hard to replicate in a cheap form factor, I feel, because everything about this just smells really natural and nice and high quality, and you don't want to dilute it with any like cheap stuff, man, because then it'll just be like, ugh, somebody slipped in some $4 Kharkov vodka into the drink I just ordered.
2 shots of vodka.
Not this one, but a cheapy alternative. This one's really surprised me. It's very, very unisex, so it's not a manly fragrance, even though it's in the traditionally masculine Creed bottles. But that being said, because of the history I have with this one, I'm keeping it. Number 3, we have a fragrance that was recently featured, and it was number 1, so clearly I still have it. It's Royal Mayfair. Now this one I have for several reasons. One, I did get it in the smaller presentation size, mainly because it's not a fragrance I would wear on a regular basis. It could be a signature scent for someone, and in fact, I know a really upscale dude who wears this one every day. But from my perspective, this is a special occasion fragrance when I wanna have a certain je ne sais quoi professionalism about me. And what it comes down to is it's extremely unique, it smells very different, and it has a lot of notes that I enjoy. It has pine needles is great. Green fragrances in general are amazing. And that bit of rose too. So that's kind of a really nice balance of rugged masculine, but also sensitive soul too. Which I am, guys, I'm sensitive. So when you tell me that I've gained weight, I don't really care, it's fine. But this one is a fragrance that maybe at some point in my life, I'm either going to wear it way more or sell it, to be honest. It's one of those ones where it really has to grow on me long term. But for now, I'm really into it. I really am all about what it's about. So it's still in my collection, you know, we'll see next year. The next Creed fragrance to survive the downsize is another unisex fragrance, and this is a good one. It's called Sublime Vanille in the spray flacon. So, love this one. Love this use of vanilla, balanced with a bit of citrus. It's really just a wonderful combination that works so well, and it's so easy to wear. It's something that you can just spray on and you'll smell delicious. The thing about this one is because it's so easy to wear, I feel it's almost too easy to wear. I would never put it on for a very specific thing, like, oh yeah, I gotta reach for Sublime Vanille for this thing. It's just kind of a dumb reach for me, which is ironic because this is probably one of the most expensive bottles of fragrance I have. That's also part of the reason I still have it. I got a very good deal on this price, on this thing, and if I were to sell it, I would most certainly sell it at a loss, which I don't want to do. And to be completely fair, if I did sell it, I would miss it. I mean, there's something comforting about how this one's composed, and even though it's a vanilla fragrance, which is largely deemed as a more feminine note, whatever, its simplicity makes it kind of equate to a really high-end lotion that's gender neutral. So it really is a tried and true fragrance for me. Not necessarily as compelling and unique as some of the other ones in this line, but this one's the most straightforward to me. It does the job consistently well, and I do appreciate that in a fragrance. I don't want to think too hard sometimes. I just want to reach for this big old glass bottle and go, pss, pss, pss. Smell great. All right, we're down to the final two, guys. Currently, there are some notable omissions on this list. There's, you know, quite a few I haven't talked about, and I only have 2 slots left. This next fragrance I kept because so unique, and it's not too popular, at least not to clone houses, because I haven't seen a clone for it before, that I know of at least. It is one of my fall weather king fragrances, and it is Creed's Tabarome Millésime. Around this time of year is when I really like to talk about this one. In fact, send it today, boy. Boom. Tobacco ginger, just a phenomenal balance. I don't know if you can tell the color of the liquid here, but it is quite yellow. And I find that the darker the juice, the more of a boost it'll have performance-wise. At least with Creed fragrances. The fully transparent ones, you know, okay. But if it's yellow, that means it's gone bad, which means it's gonna be really good in projection. I don't know. All I know is this is one of my strongest Creed fragrances. It'll last throughout the day completely, and what's beautiful about it is how it develops on your skin and how it lingers in the air, and you just keep catching these whiffs, and it never smells like, oh, my cologne's strong. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh yeah, it's this cool thing I put on this morning. So cool. It really is so cool, and I don't think I would ever replace this fragrance in my collection just because of its unique factor. You know, it's a beautifully composed fragrance, and you will smell different than Joe Schmo rockin' Aventus. Sorry about it, but the guy rockin' Aventus might get more compliments from dudes. But yeah, enough praise on this one. Let's get to my last fragrance on this list. This last Creed fragrance that survived the downsize, it's not the most unique. I mean, it kind of is, but you know. But I like it because it's versatile, right? It's an absolute signature scent worthy fragrance. Can be worn in the cool weather, the warm weather. It kind of has characteristics that complement both seasons and temperature ranges. It also encompasses kind of what Creed's about, you know, like really proper, high quality, upscale fragrances that aren't necessarily for the masses. So you don't want to smell like the masses, okay? So no, it's not Aventus. The last fragrance that survived the downsize in my Creed collection is Himalaya. Gave away Green Irish Tweed to a subscriber, gave away Aventus to my brother, sold Millésime Imperial, gave Aventus for her to my lady. I gotta buy her some more of that because she's running out. And then Royal Water, great name, amazing name, but guess what? It was a leaky bottle that I had to promptly return. And then Royal Oud, I mean, I love Royal Oud, guys. It's a fantastic fragrance that has more versatility than you think. I wore it in the warm weather sometimes too, but there was someone who really, really wanted it, who really wanted to just own it and try it out, and I sold it to him because I feel like he would have loved it more than I could ever love it. When I got Himalaya, I gave Platinum Egoist to my dad because I feel like those fragrances are kind of on a similar wavelength. They're not the same smell, like one's not cloning the other, but they just sort of have that same feel, right? Masculine, classy, a little bit modern, a little bit old school. Like it just sort of has this really cool juxtaposition that happens with it. And this could easily be an everyday fragrance for someone. So not ready to let this one go. And we'll see, in a year, maybe I'll have even less Creed fragrances. Who knows? I don't think so. I think these are the ones that I want to stick with. They give me enough variety and I'm having a good time over here, guys. So for the next episode of Surviving the Downsize, do you want to see Amouage or Yves Saint Laurent? Do you want designer or niche? Let me know, because guess what, guys? You reached the end of the video. Bye!